All right, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. How the heck is all this stuff working? So, all right, so I'm going to open up my project folder for you here, and you'll see that there are a lot of weirdly named things like middleman.js. And so I made a fun little document that kind of shows all the different pieces and like what it does and the thing. And once I finish this up, I'll send this out to you because I think it's pretty helpful. And then the thing I really want to show in this video is the system overview. And this is just showing you all the pieces and how they interact and stuff. And it's actually pretty simple how the whole thing works. Because the driver, which is my C++ project that is the heart and soul of this program, kind of does everything, and everything else is just kind of helping it out. So let's talk about the driver. The driver has two processes. Can I zoom in on this? Yeah, so the driver has two processes that are completely separate from each other, and they are run on two separate runs. So there's literally a command line parameter that you just put in that is just 1 or 2, and then that flips a switch and changes the entire function of the thing. The first process is really fast, and that's just making the web page. It just takes all the files that you passed in, and then organize them by PI and all that stuff. And that actually happens really fast. And then the other process is data merging, which makes your merge thing. So why don't we just walk through this whole process and see how it works. So as I showed in the first video, you start with a folder of iCart files, and then you got to put the path to that folder in path.txt. And then you go to this run.php, and you don't ever see this. This is just operating in the background. But so this uses path.txt, and it actually writes a file in the background that's listing out the files that it found. And then it calls this process, and then this process makes the web page here. And this web page is called middleman.php. And this is the one that you see. All these other PHP things are just things in the background. Once you you go ahead and you select all your things and your time settings and all that stuff. And then once you're done, you hit submit, and if you didn't mess something up and it didn't give you an error, then it will go ahead and call this run2.php, and I'll get to this in a second. But it will call the run2.php, and it will write 3 text files, and these 3 text files are the key text files that process2 runs off. And actually, if you wanted to skip this entire web page, you could just write these 3 files, and because that's all it needs to merge the thing. So I'm actually going to show you those files because they're not super crazy. So I like to it's not saved. I have some. Yeah, this is from the first video. I was showing you the my config. So so this is the first. So there's 3 files: files.txt and merge config.txt and variables.txt. Files, the first one is just listing out all the files that you selected from. I only selected 1 in that first video, so it's just going to be 1 here. And then merge config.txt is going to show you basically all the time settings that you put in over here, and also this thing right here. And that's just basically the stuff about the merge. And then in variables.txt, this one's a little complicated. This lists out all the variables that you picked. And then we'll have the name and the type. And then if it's linked to another variable, like how this LOD is linked to this one, that's the 3rd argument there. And then if it's an LOD, it actually has a 4th that will say if it's upper or lower. And also, if this was a wind speed, then you would put it ends up being the wind direction here that's linked to. So that's how that works. It's basically, this is just listing out all the different things about the variables. So that's that. And then, so process 2 runs off of these 3 files, and it makes this merge for you. And the only other thing is from middleman.php, if you had some saved ones like down here, this file will actually go ahead. This will handle both the saving of the file and then also bypassing this whole process and just using the ones that you saved to run process 2 and make your merge. And that's it. That's the whole thing.